Hello traders, and welcome to another exciting edition of our weekly XAUSD and GBPUSD trade analysis. Okay, so I'm excited to be here with you as we dive into the dynamic world of forex trading. So in today's video, we'll be dissecting the price action for XAUSD and GBPUSD, identifying key and potential levels on the charts, and discussing potential strategies for the week ahead.
Okay guys, this is XAUUSD on a daily time frame. So as you can see, and you all know that XAUUSD has been on an uptrend for a while. So right here, as you can see, there are some zones on my screen that have been marked out that we're looking out for XAUUSD to retest or even respect or even break out from for next week. So I'm just going to be zooming in on the 4 hours time frame so we can see these zones visibly and clearly. So let's move over to the 4 hours time frame, guys. So guys, this is our 4 hours time frame and the zones are very visible, so I'm just going to be zooming out for us to see where those zones that have been marked out. So as you can all see, guys, this is the first zone we are looking out for. Since XAUSD looks very bullish, as I said before, so we are expecting price to still move upward to this zone or possibly break out of this zone to this zone. So we are looking out for price to move to this zone or break out to this zone. But on the flip side, if price decides to reverse from any of these zones, we're expecting it to respect this zone before moving upward. So what we are looking out for is something like this. I'll just draw them out real quickly. Depending on the opening price of the market on Monday, we're expecting price to move upwards to this zone or possibly break out, retest and move to this zone, guys. But on the flip side, if price decides to move downward, we're also expecting price to move to this zone, and if it decides to break that zone, we're expecting price to retest, break it out, retest it, and then move to the second zone. That's the second support, guys, the second support. So what we are generally expecting for XAUUSD for next week Monday on the 4 hours time frame, we're expecting price to still continue upwards to this zone, and then if there's a reversal, it's going to come back to respect this zone, the zone right here, before moving to the resistance zone above. But in a case where price decides to reverse downward from here, we're expecting price to break out of this zone right here. I'm just going to make it very visible. We're expecting price to break out of this zone and then retest it and then continue to the next support zone right here. So let's move over to the 1 hour time frame so we can see the zones very visibly and clearly. Okay guys, this is the 1 hour time frame for XAUUSD. I'm quickly going to delete this so we don't get our chart all messed up. Right, I'm gonna take this off real quick. Okay, take this off real quick. So guys, this is the 1 hour. If you joined our premium community, you see that we actually caught this buy from a very good position. This buy, I think we caught it somewhere around here from a very good position. People made a lot of money, so you can do well to check for the link of our Telegram channel in the description of this video and do well to join so as to earn more. So guys, on the 1 hour time frame, as you can all see, these are key zones that price has been respecting. This is one of them. This is another one. This is another one right here. So these are key support zones. So we're expecting XAUUSD on the 1 hour time frame for next week, depending on the opening of the market. We're expecting it to move downwards to this zone. That's to retest this zone again. So I'm just going to draw what I mean. We're expecting it to move downward to this zone, to retest this zone before continuing to this resistance zone right here. If it decides to break the resistance zone, I'm still going to draw that. If it decides to break this resistance zone, that's to move upward, we expect it to retest and then continue to this next resistance zone. But on the flip side, if price decides to continue downward by breaking this support zone, so we expect price, if price decides to break that support zone, we expect it to break out, retest to give us a confirmation of entry, and then continue to the next support zones. guys. So generally for XAUUSD, we're expecting, depending on the market opening on Monday, we're expecting price to still continue bullish and then continue to the upside, or if it decides to break the support zone, that's the current support zone, we expect it to retest it and then give us a confirmation that it's going downward. So let's move over to GBP USD, guys. Okay guys, this is GBP USD on a daily time frame. So from the charts, guys, you can see that GBP USD has been bearish for a while and it has respected this particular trend line here. It has respected the trend line. So I'm just going to move through so you can see what I'm talking about. It has respected this trend line right here. Yeah, it has respected it once, so it has respected it twice, and this is the third one. So guys, as you can see, it's been very bullish on a daily time frame. So I'm just going to zoom in so we can see some key zones we are looking at for next week. On this forecast, we are looking out for some key zones for next week. So the first zone we are looking out for, as you can see, this was a support. So I'm just going to zoom in so we can see. This was a support that was marked out and GBP USD respected it for a while before breaking out of it here. Broke out of the support right here. So I'll just mark it out real quick. So it broke out of the support here, right here, guys, as you can see. So we're expecting a retest for next week, but in the case where it does not retest, we are still expecting it to move downward. So for next week, we are going to be depending on the opening of price on Monday, we're expecting price to retest this support right here and then turn it into a resistance before continuing downward to the next support, guys. So we're expecting price, depending on the opening on Monday, we're expecting price to break. Since it has broken out of the support, we're expecting it to retest it and then turn it into a resistance before moving downward. So on the flip side, if it decides to continue upward, we're expecting it to come to this resistance, to respect this resistance, bounce here, or possibly break out to respect our trend line, guys. So for next week, generally on the daily time frame for XAU, we're expecting price to continue to the downside. First, retest our support zone, which was this support zone here, to retest it and turn it into a resistance, and then continue to the downside to the next support. Or on the flip side, we are expecting it to reverse and go upward to respect this resistance zone, or possibly respect our trend line. Remember, this is a very valid trend line because it has been respecting it on the daily time frame for a while. So let's move over to the 4 hours and see some key and more visible zones. There are some clear zones here. So this was the zone I talked about on the daily time frame. This was the support zone. I'm just going to zoom out so it's more clear and visible. So price has been respecting GBP/USD. Price has been respecting this support zone for a while. So it respected it here. It also respected it here. I'm just going to move out. It respected it here too before it broke out of it. So we are expecting a retest of this zone. Sorry, I'm just going to change the color of this so it doesn't confuse us. I'm just going to change this real quick to this. Yes. So we are expecting a retest of this zone. So we're expecting price to retest this support zone, turn it into a resistance before moving to the downside, that's to the next support. But on the flip side, guys, if price does not and price decides to go upward, we're expecting price, I'll just zoom out here. If price decides to go upward, we're expecting price to come to this zone, to move to this zone, or possibly respect our trend line, our value trend line. So what we're expecting to be something like this, a reversal from here to this zone, or possibly to this our trend line right here. That's what we're expecting for GBP/USD on the 4 hours time frame. So guys, we'll move over to remember we are always doing a top-down analysis to give possible scenarios of what is going to occur on the opening week So let's move over to the 1 hour time frame, guys. Let's take this off real quick. Let's look out for more key visible zones on the lower time frame, guys. So I'm just going to zoom this. Alright, so as you can see, this is still a very valid support which price broke out from, but it has not retested it, as like I said. So we're expecting a retest. We're still expecting a retest, but in a case where price decides to go up, since price is already bullish, in a case where price decides to reverse from where it is and decides to go up, we're expecting it to get to this zone. So still on still, just like the other time frame, we're still expecting price to come towards here or possibly respect our trend line before reversing downward. But in a case where price decides to continue from where it is, we're expecting a retest, guys, very important, and then a drop to the next support zone. So generally for GBP USD, we're expecting a continuation of price to the downside, but in a case on the flip side, if it decides to reverse from where it is, we're expecting price to respect this zone or possibly respect our trend line before nosediving towards the next support zone, which is right here. So okay guys, thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode of our weekly forecast. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and also turn on the notification so as to get notified on whenever we post our weekly forecast. And also guys, please don't forget to join us on our weekly webinars, which are hosted every Wednesdays. You can check through the description of this video to get the link to our Telegram channel. Please don't miss out on the webinars. It's always educative, always captivating, and we share insights on forex trading as a whole. Please join us. Much love from FX. See you next week, same time, same station. GMGM, guys.